The first episode of Game of Thrones Season 6 is titled The Red Woman. And while it will be Melisandre who steals the spotlight in this installment, with a pretty spectacular resurrection, the story that is set up here is one about Sansa Stark and her desperate situation in a post-Ramsay Winterfell. Sansa has survived her time with the Boltons and is now free from her marriage to Ramsay, but she's far from being free. From everything we learned last season, Sansa isn't safe yet. And even though she may have taken down Ramsay and his pack of wolves, there are new threats both from within and outside the crumbling walls of Winterfell. When we find Sansa in the opening moments of Season 6, she is hiding in a room inside Winterfell, having escaped with Theon and Brienne after the Battle of the Bastards. She's heard the sound of approaching horse riders and is afraid that Ramsay has sent out a search party to find her and bring her back to him. She wants to go north, away from Winterfell and the entire kingdom, really, to a place where no one can hurt her ever again. But Brienne tells her that she must stay put for the time being. And so they wait. It doesn't take long for them to realize that it was Littlefinger who had found them and brought them back to Sansa. And he didn't come alone. With him are some cavalry and also Davos Seaworth, who seems to have become Littlefinger's right-hand man since we last saw him. At first, Sansa is deeply suspicious of Littlefinger, and warns him that if he has come to take her to Cersei, or to turn her over to any other member of the Lannister family, then he can just go ahead and kill her right then and there. It's quite the accusation, and it shows us how much Sansa has grown since we first met her all those seasons ago. Back then, she would have never imagined that she would one day be so powerful that people like Littlefinger would come crawling to her, begging her for mercy. But it's a testament to how far Sansa has come, that she is so powerful that even someone as manipulative and conniving and self-serving as Littlefinger wouldn't dare try to trick her or take advantage of her. But Littlefinger swears to Sansa that he's not here at the behest of Cersei or anyone else. He claims that he's here because he owes her father a debt, and he wants to help her to take back what is rightfully hers, her home and her birthright. And given that Littlefinger has always been motivated by self-interest, this feels like a pretty bold promise. So Sansa remains skeptical, but decides to let Littlefinger stay at Winterfell. She knows that she could use all the help she can get, and Littlefinger is definitely an asset on the battlefield. He commands a small army, loyal soldiers who are eager to fight for him, and, more importantly, he knows how to manipulate people into doing what he wants. Plus, if he really does want to help her take back Winterfell and the surrounding lands, then keeping him around might be the best option. In the end, it proves to be a very smart decision on Sansa's part, because Littlefinger is a key part of helping her take back Winterfell and secure it against future attacks. But despite the fact that they are now allies, Sansa never completely trusts Littlefinger. And he will constantly remind her of this, needle-like jabs here and there that keep Sansa on edge. It's clear that Littlefinger is enjoying being back in charge and having people like Sansa and Brienne around who owe their lives to him. He revels in the attention and the power it gives him. For example, when Sansa asks Littlefinger for weapons and supplies so she can feed the starving people of the north, he says that he already took care of that months ago and left the supplies by the River Trident. He knew that whoever won the Battle of the Bastards would need supplies, and he wanted to make sure that he was the one to provide it, thus owing him a favor. It's these kinds of moments that show us how Littlefinger is a liability as well as an asset. While he may have good intentions, if those intentions include getting something good out of the deal for himself, he's always looking out for number one, and he's not above sacrificing others to get what he wants. Sansa is smart enough to know this, though. And even though she lets him stay at Winterfell, and even though she accepts his help in taking back the city, she never completely trusts him. She keeps him at arm's length and makes sure that he doesn't have too much power. She knows that if she lets him get too close, he will eventually betray her. And in the second episode of Season 6, this is almost exactly what happens. In the aftermath of the Battle of the Bastards, Sansa is ready to leave Winterfell and head north, but Littlefinger convinces her to stay and listen to reason. He reminds her that she needs to secure her position as the rightful Lady of Winterfell before she can do anything else. And he's right. Now that Ramsay is dead, she needs to make sure that no one else takes over Winterfell. She needs to cement her authority over the north and make sure that everyone is behind her. Otherwise, Winterfell will be vulnerable to attack. So Sansa agrees to stay, but only until she can figure out what to do next. Littlefinger is happy to help, But he's also using this time to ingratiate himself to the people of Winterfell. He's throwing feasts, making promises, and basically trying to win everyone over to his side. And it's working. Everyone loves Littlefinger. They think he's great, and they trust him implicitly. And Sansa is starting to feel a little left out. She sees how popular Littlefinger is, and she knows that he's playing them all. But she can't stop him because she needs his help. Littlefinger, of course, knows this, and he uses it to his advantage. He makes Sansa feel like she's being left out, and that she's not as loved as he is. He needles her about her lack of popularity, and tries to make her feel insecure. And it's working. Sansa is starting to doubt herself. She wonders if she made the right decision by staying in Winterfell, and she starts to second-guess her every move. And then something terrible happens. Theon is captured by the Iron Islanders and taken back to the Iron Islands. And when Sansa finds out, she's devastated. She feels responsible for Theon's capture because she dragged him back to Winterfell and put him in danger. She could have saved him if she hadn't been so foolish. And Littlefinger, sensing her vulnerability, takes advantage of her despair. He tells her that she needs to get her act together, and that she can't afford to make any more mistakes. If she wants to be the Lady of Winterfell, she needs to be strong and ruthless, and she needs to learn how to play the Game of Thrones. Sansa, desperate for help and guidance, turns to Littlefinger and begs him to teach her how to be strong. And Littlefinger, ever the opportunist, agrees. He sees this as his chance to mold Sansa into the perfect pawn, and he takes full advantage of it. Meanwhile, Melisandre is having visions of the future. She sees Stannis Baratheon sacrificing his daughter to a Lord of Light and winning the battle at Castle Black. But when she arrives at the wall, she finds out that Stannis is dead, and that his daughter Renly is nowhere to be seen. Instead, she finds Jon Snow, who is also dead. But Melisandre sees the potential in Jon, and decides to resurrect him so that he can lead the fight against the White Walkers. As the episode progresses, it becomes clear that Sansa and Littlefinger's relationship is doomed to fail. Sansa is too honorable for Littlefinger, too pure of heart. She'll never be able to be as cunning and ruthless as he is, and Littlefinger knows this. That's why he never really lets Sansa in. He keeps her at arm's length, and he never really trusts her either. In the end, he's right. Sansa may have learned how to play the Game of Thrones, but it's not without sacrifice. And sometimes the only way to win is to walk away from it all. In the next episode, Sansa finally realizes that Littlefinger is using her, and she gets rid of him, sending him to the wall to die. It's a tragic end for a character who had so much potential, but it's also a necessary one. Sansa needs to be free of Littlefinger if she is going to truly be in charge at Winterfell. With Littlefinger gone, Sansa is finally able to focus on the real threat facing Winterfell, the White Walkers. She knows that the wall is crumbling and that the dead are coming, and she knows that she needs to do everything she can to prepare for the battle. Thank you for watching.